This message is only meant for one person in the entire world. This will find you because you are a magnet and you've literally drawn this into your orbit. You are a whole entire universe, and within you holds this solar system, held together by physical laws that govern the way you interact within this system. And it's because you are a deity that was lost in sleeping in matter. And you had awoken within this construct, right? To awaken is to remember. So you remembered yourself as a fractal of infinite potential. And the message I was getting is that if you're seeing this right now, you are one of the first to enter into the golden age. And when I say that, it's literally like a fractal of conscious awareness that is glowing, and you bring a taste of the golden age to this age, because I was seeing this ancient frequency amongst the new age, if you will, right? So you almost bring this taste of heaven or this otherworldly interdimensional knowledge, and it's displayed through the very embodiment that is you. It's not even necessarily something that you say, but it's the things in which you don't say. It's not even the things that you do, but it's the things that you don't do, and the way in which you hold space, not just for those around you, but you hold space for yourself, and you hold space for the paradox of this third dimension. So this is a super powerful message for you, my love. We're gonna get into it. We have so many downloads, and it's just absolutely beautiful. So if this has found you, you are embodying that golden age frequency. It's that timeless essence of the eternal self, experiencing itself temporarily through form in this finite form. You are demonstrating your infinite nature. I'm seeing wisdom and also knowledge that's been accumulated through many parallels that you're streamlining into this present moment. So this was the message. Birds migrating. That's what I was seeing everywhere for you. Birds migrating, birds migrating. And this is something that I was very fond of since I was a child, okay? I'm feeling very drawn towards this Lemurian crystal. We picked it up at Aramu. So it's a divine masculine portal. So again, this is the physical embodiment. You could be guided to literally go places in the physical or to do things, but I'm seeing the yang energy. And for you, I'm also seeing we're exiting the year of the snake in 2025, and 2026 in February we're going to be entering into the year of the fire horse. So I'm seeing as going from the yin to the yang, deep internal contemplation about your mission and the things that you're doing here in this reality. And 2026, I'm seeing from February onwards, things are going to be shifting very rapidly for you, because you've been gaining clarity on what moves to make, and everything is going to make exact sense for you during that time. So we'll also take a look at what's going on there for you as we open up with the oracles. But you're here because something dormant inside of you has just reactivated. It's almost like it's just come back online, right? When you descended or incarnated into this matrix or this system or this universe that you had essentially designed for yourself to play in through this subjective lens, right, of this ego, of Chantel, of Josh, of Jessica, of whoever it is that you're playing in, right, as this human biological costume. It's expressing your intentions before this incarnation. You're coming back into alignment with what your cosmic intentions are, and you're living according to that essence. So I'm seeing you navigate and move through this realm according to that divine essence, especially through the year of the snake, right? I'm seeing the story of the snake and the emperor, and the snake had basically journeyed around the whole earth, around the whole world, and I'm just seeing that as something that you've done recently. And this could have been you traveling with the mind, right? I'm seeing you travel into dimensions. I'm hearing near and far. So these are high bandwidths of frequency that you've been able to not just attune to, but also get accustomed to, and other beings that also occupy those dimensional planes. So I'm seeing spirit guides that you've connected with that are almost being deployed or unlocked at this stage of your evolution. They've been designed to assist you at this stage. So anyway, I was seeing birds migrating, right? And they have this magnetite crystal within the brain, just like the Lemurians did, right? Or the Atlanteans. And they had this magnetite crystal, and it's a natural magnet that is attuned to the Earth's the Earth's not just geometric structure, but the Earth's how do I explain it? Almost magnetic force. So I'm seeing this electromagnetic force that you're attuned to. So it's not that you don't look at a layer of reality that others can look at very clearly in the physical, but you're also attuned to, I'm hearing, more subtle realms. Okay, so you're also attuned to seeing the things in which they may not be able to. They're always coexisting around us and amongst us, but they're existing in higher bandwidths of frequency light. So anyway, birds, they have this tiny magnetic crystal, and it's these iron-based minerals that they hold. You can almost think about it as like the third eye, but it's in parts of their beak as well as their brain. And this is something that helps them when it comes to their sense of direction, right? When it comes to their life on Earth, it's almost like this soul GPS or navigation system. And that's something that you're coming back into alignment with. And I'm hearing it's the body's natural equipment. It feels like it's part of the human package is what I'm seeing, and you're unlocking the incredible potential of the human. It kind of reminds you of the movie Lucy, where she begins to unlock 100% of her brain, and I'm just seeing you access more of that brain and heart coherence. It's like you're unlocking the full potential of this avatar, of this bioelectrical costume. And you're sensing the Earth's magnetic field as an extension of the Earth. You're tuning back into the nature of this construct, the nature of this reality, and you're understanding your position on the planet now. So you're navigating long distances with incredible accuracy. And I'm seeing this as a specific trajectory when it comes to the story of your life, or the many different stories that could be told, but your heart is gently guiding you towards your chosen destination, like a very clear intention that you've had, that you've chosen to come back on Earth to experience in a linear unfoldment of something quantumly that already exists for you. And that's why you feel so drawn towards this thing. It's this state of quantum entanglement, but we'll get there, right? So energetically, this is part of your not only just internal compass, but it's you being able to trust invisible forces during this time. We even have sidereal space here at the base, which is belonging or from the to the planets or the stars. So again, this is somebody that has otherworldly knowledge, interdimensional knowledge, right, that exists within them, that is hidden, right? And it's leading to you feel very called without knowing why, right? It's like you're called towards certain destinations, certain destined timelines for yourself, and that timing is guided through your instinct. Following this energetic pull, again, that's like a huge thing. And I'm seeing it as you're a magnet, right? You have your own magnetic force, and it's harmonizing with your full potential, and other people are getting to witness that or experience it through you or from you in some way. Again, you're the embodiment. So yeah, you're being guided without fear during this time. You're also crossing the threshold as you enter into this new season of your life, really being able to integrate, embody, and practically apply this internal knowing into everything that you're guided to do in the external. And that's the embodiment of the new human. It's the one that has this incredible sense of self-trust that they've been able to cultivate or come back to you. Again, you'll always be in this highly abundant, formless, fluid being that, again, is very detached. And that means to become high vibrational, because I'm seeing you're an organism composed up of trillions of cells, right? Over 30 trillion cells. And on a cellular level, you've cleared up a lot of dense debris. It's like you've flushed out these lower octaves of belief systems that you had taken on ancestrally or inherited or adopted. And I'm seeing you overcome like fear that you have had, or self-doubt, which is a slower oscillation, right? It's a lower octave. And I'm just seeing like you've been speeding up your thoughts, and you're becoming highly conducive. So you're able to sustain these greater I'm hearing quests during this time. It almost feels like, again, like a soul mission that's almost being upgraded because you've made it to this point. Anyway, birds don't migrate out of logic. They migrate from this deep internal knowing. Birds migrate because they have this sense inside of them, right? Something begins to move in alignment with the earth. And this pull almost rises you from your body. And it reminds me of the Judgment card. Let me see if I can find it in this deck. It would be a beautiful depiction to share. But the Judgment is like this Plutarian essence. So I'm hearing enigmatic force. Okay, you're an enigmatic force. So you could be incredibly mysterious. You could even be a mystery to yourself at this stage in your life, especially in regards to just how things are unfolding. I want to find the Judgment card in this deck simply because Judgment in this deck is also about the unknown and making friends with the unknown. I'm also seeing it be applicable to the world and life on Earth. So again, it's you coming back into alignment with your cosmic origins before this incarnation, and it's leading you to be a global, again, it's like you're completing this global commission right now. It's something to do with your legacy, and that's not just about the things that you achieve in the physical, but it's also about the things, we have past lives as well, that's catching my attention, the things in which you do that impact others in this realm. And it's because you're embodying a different example. You're embodying what the human looks like that trusts itself. These are innate abilities as well that not only you're coming back into alignment with, but I'm seeing a sense of safety that you bring. Not only does it allow you to feel more stable and secure within this mission that you have in this lifetime, but that's also a contagious thing. You know, I'm seeing it as an exothermic reaction. You also embody and emit this signal of safety. Like, it's okay to be in your body. It's okay to completely immerse yourself within the human experience. And there was another message that was coming through for you. That sense of certainty is collapsing these timelines for you instantly, okay, instantaneously. It's almost like an instant thing that you're able to unlock, this ability that you're able to access, even if it's this inner still sanctuary that you can retreat back to at any given moment in time. It's something that you've been able to master, again, kind of cultivating that 0 point. We have death in the fall. We're almost there, guys. I'm just trying to find this Judgment for you. What should be one of these? Right, hold on, give me this. Okay, here it was, right hidden at the top. So you could be hidden in plain sight, and it was hidden behind the 3 of chalices. So again, it's almost like the one that stands out in some way. But yeah, the one that stands out, that's what I'm seeing, but in the best way possible. Okay, let me go ahead and read the unknown for you in this deck before we continue. And again, it's like you're being guided, but not out of fear or even confusion. Your sense of clarity and intention is something that actually grounds you as you move through this construct. This is just going to be me and you, right? You and I, chill, sit down session. So let's get into this because we have a lot to cover, actually. There's a lot that I've been kind of collecting, and I didn't know when the time was right, but now is the time. I was getting a calling to share this with you. So, Judgment and the unknown. A chilling gust of wind knocks you out of your state of ecstasy. This is about a reckoning, an awakening, and a reflection. Now, awakening is not changing who you are, it's discarding all the things whom you're not, okay? And I know I don't have to tell you that because you already know there's a lot that you have been able to not just discard, but there's a lot that you've been able to alchemize that you realize is not yours to hold on to anymore, right? It's the belief systems that do not serve you moving forward. It's what you've returned back to, okay, which is the fact, again, that you've always been a very abundant being, and you're no longer taking on the limits or the physical laws that govern this universe as universal laws that govern you simply because you're a multiversal universal organism. You branch and extend and actually originate from a source far beyond the system of matrix, right? So you realize that you have experienced limits in order to come back to your limitless nature. you recognize that you had to forget in order to remember. In order to awaken, you had to first sleep. So again, you experience this huge level of contrast, this level of duality, and that's what I mean by holding space for that paradox, right? So you don't want to leave where you are because you're unsure of what comes next, but the time has come to move into the unknown again. The unknown symbolizes exterior forces we encounter in our life that push us in unfamiliar and sometimes unwanted directions, especially to, like, the ego. The ego likes comfortability, it likes predictability, it doesn't like change, especially like the soul does, because again, the soul thrives through shifts, it thrives through change, because change leads to growth, and growth over time supports the evolution of the soul's journey, right? And this is something that you've mastered, acting even in the presence of that fear, and you're trusting this force within you that guides you, right? This eternal light that's guiding your path. So it may not be the kind of awakening that you'd like, but it is sometimes necessary to move on. It's what creeps in on lonely nights and makes you question what is true. This reckoning is meant to test you, but you will come out the other side awakened and invigorated. This feels like something that not only have you already been through, but it feels like something that you're undergoing again. So you're very equipped to navigate this next transition. But right now you're being guided in the same way. It's just a new season that is announcing itself inside of your energy field. And this is why you've pulled in this message, this transmission into your vicinity. It's literally been orbiting you. It's almost like a portal in which you've opened, but you may not know the destination, but you can definitely feel this sense of direction when it comes to the next few steps that you have to take. It reminds you of the hermit's journey. That's probably something that you've been going through, especially 2025 is also a 9-year. So I feel like, again, that is the hermit's introspective phase that he's gone through. He has this inner compass that's guiding him through this dark path, but he knows that as he walks the way begins to unfold in front of him, right? It literally begins to collapse in front of him. The signs, the synchronicities, the symbol, the path. He recognizes himself as the path and also the one that walks it, right? His interconnectedness to all things. And birds don't overthink their path. It's their body that knows the way, right? This inner knowing. You're following this magnetism within you, and that should be the very thing that guides you at this season in your life. And that's only one part of the story. The second system that birds have is this quantum eye, I like to call it, and it's known as 𝓬𝓪𝓻. If you don't know what 𝓬𝓪𝓻 is, it's scientists that have discovered this navigation aspect, if you will, within birds, and it also exists within humans. It's a protein in the eyes that birds have called 𝓬𝓪𝓻, and this allows birds to literally see the magnetic field shifting as patterns of light in their vicinity, right, all around them. So birds navigate partially through this vision, and this is your third eye. That's the way I'm seeing it, right? So your third eye is your multisensory perception system that allows you to tune into, again, what's happening in these dimensional spheres or layers of reality that are always surrounding you, are always amongst you. And there's this intercommunication that's happening with you and these other realms, okay, these other domains, if you will, and you're able to actually anchor back that information into the third dimension and act upon it, okay? And this is the way that your intuition is working. It extends and branches far beyond what's happening in the vision that your avatar's eyes can see, because that's less than 1% of the light spectrum. The rest of you is communicating as a multidimensional being with many dimensions beyond space and time. So yeah, birds use magnetite crystal, which is almost the physical compass, and then 𝓬𝓪𝓻 is a visual energetic compass that they also have. So you're using both. I want you to think about it as almost the head and the third eye, right? Sorry, the head and the third eye. The head, which is the third eye, and then also your heart, which is going to be two of your quantum technologies, and you're leveraging the quantum being right now. So this makes birds one of the most sophisticated navigators when it comes to their life on Earth. And when I'm talking about birds, I'm also referring to you. So again, your navigation style is just optimal for the human experience, right? It's still having a human experience. Again, it's a form of quantum entanglement. So within 𝓬𝓪𝓻, lies a pair of electrons that are quantum entangled. So no matter how far they are, right, no matter the distance between you and this other octave of self, I want you to think about it as being quantumly entangled with your higher self, right? How would your higher self navigate life on Earth if they had landed here? Because you're literally your higher self in physical form, right? The way that you're navigating your relationship with the unknown is what is allowing you to excel during this stage. I'm also seeing a student, like a universal student, and also teacher that's just excelling through this academical framework and how they view existence. Again, it's like your mind is expanding. I'm seeing just Jupiterian energy. So you're remaining in contact with each other to this version of you that can see the full landscape of time and space, and you're being guided via the heart and via these preview of life's upcomings that you're receiving via your imagination, right? So you're tuning into your destiny before it unfolds. Another thing I want to mention is 𝓪𝓚2 is actually used in laboratory experiments with humans, and it shows this similar sensitivity that the human has outside of the body, right, to a connection to something other than the self, or that goes beyond the self, if you will, connecting with a higher power that's also existing innately within you. So there's this hardware that exists, but it's been dormant up until now. It's almost like when you update a computer and it like fixes the bugs, right? Like the limiting belief systems. I'm just seeing that as a full body avatar upgrade. This allows you to actually become an internal oracle. It's you seeking the oracle within. You have this inbuilt intuition device that you've been able to access and you're utilizing. And there's this chakra direction. It's almost as if you can feel within your body what you need to do next. It's someone that says, I feel it in my bones, or I just know this thing, but I don't know why. It's this cosmic GPS that's alerting you, right? It's your magnetite essence. And I'm seeing parallel streams where, again, you've been able to work with this in parallel lives, right? Past lives, future lives. Some of you, again, definitely remember connections that you have to the Lemurians, to Atlantis. I'm just seeing ancient civilizations and bringing back that ancient technology into the new age, right? These new things that we're discovering are things that have always been, things that you are innately connecting back to. The Pleiades is a huge one that had seeded the earliest high consciousness humans on planet Earth, placing them in what would eventually become Lemuria to build this spiritual golden age. These are beings who had accessed higher dimensional levels of awareness and also faculties. So in ancient Lemuria, among the early Aboriginal elders, humans used these innate crystalline abilities, including things that would unlock telekinesis, telepathy, psychic senses, remote perception, energy healing, grid walking. And I'm seeing the more that you've been able to come back into alignment with your body, the more that you've been able to connect to the self, the more of these abilities you've been able to re-access, right? So this is like timeline reading, for example, telecommunication with the Earth system itself. It's like you've been able to connect with maybe lifetimes of where you've been a planet, which is also an organism going through its own ascension process. That's what I'm seeing, just vast memories. I'm just seeing like vast data of memories and experiences through many lifetimes. And it's not even magic. It wasn't even something that was considered magical, maybe from an outside perspective of those who were yet to unlock those abilities within themselves. But this was a natural baseline of consciousness. You know, that's the main thing that I know you're very aware of. These are innate abilities that are accessible to us. So you have lived in worlds where intuition was a form of communication, right? You've lived in realms where energy was this universal language, if you will, that everybody spoke. Consciousness literally was a technology that you would use, right? Your timeless consciousness that's navigated life on Earth utilizing many carbon-based life forms. And you've got to know and remember yourself in each and every avatar, in each and every alpha third dimensional vessel, right? That's allowed you to experience life in this terrestrial plane. I'm just seeing you've come back and you've come back and you've come back again and again and again. So this is higher awareness of birds. It's higher awareness of, if you want to think about birds, even in Peru, right, we're talking about the condor, right, with the Trinity. So the condor represents the highest plane of consciousness. It represents our connection with 𝓻𝓪𝓵, which is, you know, the heavens, if you will. So what does it feel like to be one of the first fractals that come online, right? A fractal of awareness that becomes conscious of itself, begins to behave very, very differently in this construct. It's not easy. That's why very few souls will choose to unlock this level of reality, because you cannot unsee the things in which you see, right? You learn some things that you cannot unlearn. It's the moment where Neo, right, the neocortex, takes the red pill and he can't just be a deity that's lost in sleeping a matter anymore, because he has awakened and attuned to the true nature of this construct and this reality. Right, the neocortex is your five, almost primary antennas when navigating this physical experience, when being immersed in the illusion of physicality. So it can feel like you can see before others can see. You're someone that will sense patterns, truths, and energetic shifts that will happen long before the collective energies catch up. Your perception is operating in a different octave, but there's always harmonious resonance that is being sustained through this contrast. Okay, there's always supposed to be this contrast in this realm. So there is still this perfect design that you're able to admire, where you can be in a room full of many fractals of awareness that are not yet conscious of themselves. Infinite potential still lays dormant or yet to be accessed, and you can admire and not interrupt the soul's process of how they choose to apply their free will or not in this realm. So you can also feel displaced, but also weirdly at home at the same time. You can recognize when the old world also no longer fits. You almost may feel like not many people stick in your life. I'm seeing you've gone through many, many seasons where you've vibrationally outgrown a certain resonance, right? And certain connections in that network, within that ecosystem filled with people in the same vibrational wavelength, because you've always been changing and ascending. So I've seen something around you haven't stuck to the same octave. It's like your thoughts have changed, your belief systems have changed, the way that you see yourself or feel about your life on earth has also shifted, and that's led to shifts happening in the external. Like reality has responded to that, or corresponded to this internal rapid evolution process. So you can recognize when the old world no longer fits, but also a new world that hasn't fully formed yet. So I'm feeling you're in another in-between seasons right now as well, where you're almost standing in the hallway between eras, where a soul has one foot within the golden age, and I'm seeing this collectively, and then you also have one foot that's still helping, humanity rise from Kali Yuga. So this creates almost this strange nostalgia for something you haven't lived yet, but you also deeply remember from another time. So you're experiencing this heightened internal sensitivity as well, where your intuition is sharpened, your dreams quite literally become portals, and your body feels guided in a way that those around you may not fully understand, and your magnetite has just become, again, incredibly coherent with what is needed at this next stage of your evolution. So you could receive pings, maybe synchronicities, right? High frequency pitches, maybe within your right or left ear. You may have pulls, signs, synchronicities, almost like migration impulses, if you will, either to do this thing or to expand in some way. This is like your inner compass that's now switching back on or reactivating within this avatar. And again, you've gone through this through many variations of lifetimes. That's what I'm seeing it as, and it's just happening again. So you're very familiar with this feeling, but it's happening for the first time maybe within this lifetime, or it's something that you've done and you continue to go through these ascension upgrades. That's also how I want to see it. Or say it, right? So you could also feel quite misunderstood, but not necessarily alone, if that makes sense. There's a difference between being alone and also lonely, and I'm seeing you as not being lonely because you are connected with your guides, you are connected with variations of reality that exist in I'm seeing quantum forms, okay? So are existing all around you. You are very aware of your interconnectedness to all things. Others may not understand your clarity or your sensitivity or your downloads or multidimensional awareness, but the universe does. You know, your guides do, and your higher self also does. So there is also this sense of wholeness. You don't feel like you are lacking anything in any way. If you need a witness, you have become your own. This is someone that I'm speaking to that is incredibly sovereign, right? Has been able to come into that wholeness. So you can light up a room that is still waking up. You become a beacon without even trying. Again, with that natural magnetic field that you have and other things in your orbit, you are your own sun. So people are drawn towards you without even necessarily knowing why. They can feel just regulated around your energy because there is this sense of familiarity about you. They can feel clarified or calm or almost like they're being activated. Your presence could be something that kind of pulls or draws others into the present moment, allows them to connect with the eternal essence that is existing within them. Even unconsciously, you know, that's what I'm seeing as you expand or shift the frameworks and how others view this reality in a way that they wouldn't have been able to otherwise. And maybe it's something that you said, maybe it's the things in which you didn't say, but you're offering a different perspective or a wider perspective. That's one of your gifts. Again, it's holding space. So your frequency becomes a point of activation. Another message I was seeing is, although it's like this beautiful place that you're in, it can still feel a little bit heavy, almost like there is this weight of responsibility around how you choose to consciously interact and engage within this system. There could be responsibility that you felt since this remembrance, maybe this sense of longing for the world to almost catch up as well, and an ache of seeing what's possible even when others may not, especially within themselves. It's almost like you can see potential within those around you that they may not have accessed within themselves just yet. With that, I'm seeing you live in two worlds simultaneously. You're in the age of Kali Yuga, if you will, but then you're also in the golden age. You're seeing the world that is emerging from this cycle of Kali Yuga, and your body is here, but your consciousness touches that future. It's almost like your consciousness is a spherical model in action. You're literally phasing between these frequencies. I'm seeing almost like a shape-shifting being who's bridging this timeline for humanity, is able to bring in, again, this golden age, this golden essence, this golden aura through your being, and you're embodying the golden age frequency within the here and now, within dark times, right? It's almost like you could be the light in the room. You're not here to convince anyone, you're here to become that living example and embodiment, which means that you are mirroring a different example. So your presence reactivates dormant fractals of awareness, and it feels familiar, and it's because you've done this before. In Atlantis, in Lemuria, in these ancient star civilizations. You've done this before. This is the return of this ancient role that you're here to play. So you have become the bridge. You've become an anchor in many ways, where you're standing strong in this remembrance while the world is still blinking awake. You are the migration bird. And I'm seeing the one that kind of leads the flock. You know, it's them flying in this very specific trajectory that they feel called to, and they're not doing it because they want to be followed or they even want to be a leader. They're simply just leading themselves, and as they fly through this existence rooted in their sovereignty, they become a point of resonance for souls also longing to move in that direction of change, that direction of growth and evolution. That's what I'm seeing. You're taking on that role, or you're coming back into that role within this lifetime. So it's beautiful. Again, you're bringing the golden age into the age of Kali Yuga through your awareness. And if you guys don't know Kali Yuga, in Vedic cosmology, we move through basically times and cycles called yugas, which are different ages of consciousness. And Kali Yuga is the age that's to do with spiritual forgetfulness. It's where these beings incarnate into this system, into this matrix, and they fall into this human amnesia and forget their cosmic origins, right? It's a very dark age where people fall into materialism. They draw their attention away from the infinite realm and they get lost within the finite things. So it can be ego dominance or disconnection from the source, and it causes this confusion or this decay of truth. And there's this social instability that can happen as well, where people fall into the illusion of Maya, right? They fall into the veils of forgetfulness, and you've been able to step into Lila, which is divine play and creation, and being able to play within this realm in which you've created for yourself, even with this contrast, right? With some still living in this illusion of the blue pill, right? The illusion of Maya. And there's been the decline of intuitive abilities or psychic faculties because they've become atrophied because we've disconnected from the self. So again, you've been able to come back into alignment with those natural faculties that had maybe become atrophied, right? It's almost like an excess muscle when not exercised begins to weaken, right, and dissolve, and you've been able to exercise that back into its full strength or capacity. That's what it feels like is happening. It's just this deep insight or phase that we move through as a cosmic cycle, and it represents almost entropy, which is the breakdown before the renewal, where again we experience lows in order to soar to new heights. So we're still deep just collectively in Kali Yuga, which is something that lasts, I think it's 432,000 years, something like that in total. So we have left the deepest part of Kali Yuga, which is probably around like the 1700s or maybe the 1800s, and we're ascending into this new arc, right? We're ascending into the new age, but we're still very much in Kali Dwapara, which is this transition zone, and we're not fully out but we're also not fully in. So it kind of feels like we're in this in-between critical phasing moment. It's the moment where the snake is shedding its skin, but it just needs to kind of launch itself outwardly. You know, it's almost like the caterpillar that is becoming that butterfly inside of the chrysalis, but it still is going through its growth phase before it can really burst out and free itself. Or maybe it can already free itself, but it's not really aware of that just yet, right? That thought hasn't really entered into its consciousness just yet. So that's why everything can feel chaotic during this awakening, but at the same time it's like this liminal bridge between ages. So you're bringing that golden age essence into Kali Yuga. That's my message for you today, where you're not waiting for the world to ascend. You can become the frequency that begins that ascension, and that's exactly what you're doing. You are here bringing the golden age essence into the age of Kali Yuga, into this current moment within space and time, because you're one of the stabilizers. You are one of the frequency holders. Your consciousness and a fractal of consciousness that is restoring this memory through becoming a teacher, through becoming a healer, through disrupting these systems and doing these grid activations right within you. And your presence becomes, again, an anchor for others. It becomes a point of remembrance where you're holding this light that the world is still remembering. This is the return of that fractal. That is the embodiment of Christ consciousness, right? It's the fractal of awareness that had previously forgotten itself and had awakened within this construct. That human consciousness is a fractal, an infinite repeating pattern of intelligence where in Kali Yuga, many fractals go offline. That's exactly the ages that we're moving through. That is this spherical model of ascension, right? This is where intuition begins to dull, or telepathy abilities have begun to really fade. Psychic faculties begin to fall asleep, right, or go unconscious, or we become unconscious to our connection to that subtle energy in which we innately are, and we mistake ourselves for the material when we are the immaterial, right? We are more non-physical than we are physical. And unity consciousness begins to fragment, because we begin to come into this disconnection with ourself and the source, to the point where we begin to disconnect to all those around us. And the funny thing about you is that you have this deep interconnectedness to all things, and you've been able to access that through the heart space, to the point where, again, you can admire the contrast in this realm. You begin to admire that paradox that our perception creates our reality, and we can all experience a completely different version of that. You have incarnated here at this very crucial, and I want to say delicate time within humanity, because as we move out of Kali Yuga, everything that was dormant begins to reactivate. Everything that was dormant begins to kind of switch back online, if you will. This is the reactivation of the intuition. It's the rise of telepathic communication or resonance even between people. It's where you can look at someone and know exactly what they're feeling. You can even see what's happening within the architecture of their multidimensional body. You understand the belief systems that they hold. You can hold space for maybe the trauma that is still lingering within them that is yet to be integrated and resolved. There's this mass awakening that begins to happen. There's a return of ancient memory. Time being a spherical model simply means that all moments exist in the here and now. All moments contain all moments. So you're not escaping Kali Yuga. Instead, you're phasing into a different frequency of the golden age, like a radio station, and then you're beginning to emit that frequency. That golden age literally begins within you. That is accessing the new earth. It's the new potential of what that human looks like and bringing it into the present moment, anchoring that into the present. Okay, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and pull a Cosmos Oracle message for you and see what you need to know most right now. We have the Cosmic Network. This is beautiful. The Cosmic Network is your interconnectedness to all things. And then we have attraction. So there could be something that you're very drawn towards, or other fractals within this interconnected network may be drawn towards you. That's also what I'm seeing. So let me go ahead and read this Cosmic Network for you. The Cosmic Network talks about equality and available information. So you're drawing in this information from the quantum field and is accessible to all beings. Da Vinci, Newton, Tesla, Dali, Darwin, Buddha, Jung, Shakespeare. It goes on to say a bunch. Dalai Lama, Einstein, all of these, to name just a few examples, and other distinguished beings who have left a mark on our evolution, have all accessed the genius available in the energy network. Generally, we see these people with admiration or adoration. And this is what I mean. Like with attraction, you're definitely being admired. There's something about you, you know, fractals may not be able to completely put their finger on it, but they feel it. There is a sense of remembrance on a soul level. There is that recognition. But forget the true meaning of their real message. Everyone can access the information provided by the energy network if desired. It reminds me of the fact that Jesus, right, and Yeshua didn't want to be praised. He was the living embodiment and example of what all of us are, okay? Everyone can access the information provided by the energy network if desired. Everything is energetically available for all of us as a tool if we wish to be taken by that energy. And you're a living, breathing example of what that actually looks like. We must not let adoration blind us. It kind of reminds me of the reading that we did around You're the Mystic Rebel that nobody saw coming. And we talked about this Queen of Wands character who doesn't want to be put on a pedestal in any way. And she walked into this field of sunflowers, and every single day they would turn towards her because they believed that she was the sun. And she was the sun, but a fractal of it. Okay, she was a fractal of that infinite potential. So she naturally had this exothermic reaction, right? Where she spread that light and that heat and that safety and that memory to her surroundings. And one day she got tired of it. One day she walked into the sunflower field. All the sunflower heads turned towards her in this heliotropic way, right? Where they naturally gravitate towards the sun. And she pointed to the sky. And she said, that is your source. And all of the sunflowers in that moment, they remembered that the sun was within them too. There's something like that with you. You know, it's like, if I can do it, why can't you? And there's something that you're saying without words right now. That's what it feels like. So Everyone is equally able to believe and connect with the information that exists within the quantum field. They have showed us a film which we watch with full concentration before they leave us to become the actors or protagonists of our own reality. Sometimes the challenge is to believe yourself to be capable and discover what it is that you really want for your life. Of all the information, which do I want to connect with? What do I want to be? What do I want to do? Do I know what I want to become? Am I aware of what I'm capable of? There's something about you, my love. There's something about you. And let me go ahead and read the Queen of Wands for you, and you'll see what I mean. Courage, determination, and wisdom. A figure stands on the precipice of a molten lava pool, swinging a three-flame lantern in the night. Book pressed firmly against her body. They seem to be hiding something learned from the unknown. The mystic has nearly an unquenchable thirst for knowledge. They are determined to seek out truth and courageous enough to think beyond the constructs of society for answers. The mystic shows up when you have acquired certain knowledge that needs to be shared. In a reading, this can suggest that you know more than you let on or realize. It may require courage and determination to speak your voice, but your views in the situation are crucial to a group understanding. This high pedestal may make you feel isolated from others, so come down and share with those around you. There's some type of way that you're sharing this. There's some type of way that you're embodying this, or at least you're being called to do something with it. You know, it's like now that you're conscious and you're awake within this construct, the world is truly your oyster. How would you want to play with all fractals of yourself? And again, it's not that you're forcing awakenings in any way. It's something, again, we have the Heart of Source and Star Sirius blessings. Super auspicious energy. Heart of Source talks about encompassing love, unconditional acceptance, which is, again, unconditional acceptance is saying, I unconditionally accept you as you are at this stage of your evolution, right? The awareness of a being is going to be dictated part upon part the state of the state of evolution that the human is at is going to depend solely upon the part of the brain that they're accessing at that given moment in time. Okay, it's hard when you're on fight or flight and you're just accessing the amygdala within the brain, right? There is this focus just on the physical. There is just a focus on survival, especially if there's an imbalanced root and you do not feel safe and secure and stable within the body. But there's something about your presence brings people back into the body. It brings where the awareness has been fragmented across many different timelines, especially in regards to fear of the unknown. And it brings that awareness back. I'm just seeing like a gentle, it kind of reminds you of the snake charmer. And I'm just seeing that as the Kundalini rising. There's something around you turn or divert the attention away from the material. You just may not put so much focus or value. It's almost like, what is your God? You know, your God is not the material things. Your God originates from the God mode that you've accessed within you. Let me go and read Sirius Star Blessings. This is about a project that you could be thinking about, and this is why you've attracted this into your field during this time as well. So yes, proceed, be seen, and push through. There's some type of thing that you're here to create, and it's here to be seen. And this reminds you of, again, you're going global in some way because of the impact that you're here to have. You may not be someone that necessarily wants recognition, but your work or something that you're here to do is here to be recognized. Okay, so this talks about in December, actually. So December could be a really prominent month for you. In ancient Egypt, this was known as like the New Year, and it was celebrated as the coming of Sobdet, which is the goddess queen of Sirius. During the last week of December, Sirius can be found in the sky between midnight and dawn. The Sirius star system is the home of race humanoid beings who most likely live in a dimension higher than our own. It's believed that these beings can be contacted through spiritual practice. Tuning into them can enable us to receive high frequency spiritual downloads. Okay, this is beautiful, right? So you may want to connect with a Sirius fractal of yourself. This message comes with a gateway of a giant yes. It brings the energy of wishing on a star and seeing that wish come true. This is a time for you to move forward with any projects or ideas that you have felt called to carry out. I'm also seeing others like wish upon a star and then they are drawn into the orbit, or they draw something into their orbit, because we're all the universe experiencing itself as human, where you put something out there and then it intersects, others draw or call it in, and maybe a message, and maybe something that you create in some way. Anyway, it talks about a positivity, abundance, and excitement surround you at this time. Whatever dreams you've been revisiting recently aren't dreams but premonitions. Know that whatever you're connecting with on the inside is soon to be something that you'll experience in the physical. So think about what you desire of instead of what you fear. See yourself celebrating as if your wildest dreams have already come true. And as you do so, you'll be creating the perfect world for them to manifest. It's auspicious. Guys, I'm going to leave it right there for you. I think that's all that we need to cover today. I mean, that was beautiful. Absolutely, absolutely beautiful. So, with that being said, you know what to do. You, again, draw this into your orbit, because this is most probably a confirmation for what you already know in this third dimensional experience. You've downloaded this transmission. I'm simply a figure of your imagination. I'm a character that's shown up within your dream, because you're not just dreaming this into being, you're living in your dream. So, with that being said, if you're already subscribed, do consider subscribing, because we'd love to have you around. Personal reading details are also down below if you feel so called. And also check out Otter Spirit if you're looking for some high quality AA grade jewelry. It's a small family owned business that handcraft these beautiful gemstones. You have many, many different intention packs to be able to choose from. There's 2 discount codes for that in the description box. And I hope to speak to you very soon. Until next time, bye.